What's up, guys? Lo here, EM3 Strength and Conditioning. Here on episode 2 of The Conspiracy Against Muscle, the truth you are not being told. This is episode number 2. You can't outrun a strength training program, or you can't outrun strength training, however you want to say it. Either way, the point is we're going to tackle how cardio is very good for you, but it also has to change. The role of cardio in your fitness has to change as we get older because the demands of your body change, and also the mechanics and maybe injury, maybe other things get in the way that don't allow you to perform um, the best cardio or make cardio work the best for you. So you have to start adjusting, making changes. Not to say to ever stop doing cardio because you shouldn't. You really shouldn't. It really is good for you. It's good for your heart. It's good for your circulatory system. It's good for blood flow, making sure that blood flow is going, and everything else. It's the transport system. So it has to do with transferring oxygen and carbon dioxide in and out of cells down to the cellular level. So it is super important. But again, it has to change a little bit as you age. And it also depends on the individual. So let's take individual A. All right, sorry, it's a little chilly in here. So I got my little beanie on. So let's take individual A. Individual A is born, and just like any other infant, they can't do anything for themselves, but they start crawling, walking, running, playing. Maybe they get into sports in their teenage years, high school years. Um, let's say they choose to play soccer, you know, field hockey, track, uh, long distance running, whatever it is, something very cardiovascular. And you start to get in your 30s, and you're still good, right? Not that you don't strength train, but your focus is cardio. Um, so you keep going, right? You start to get in your 40s. Maybe you start to feel yourself slow down in the form of probably, let's say, running is getting harder now. Just the act of running, or even getting motivated to run, is getting a little harder. Your joints start to hurt a little bit, and also sometimes, and it also this really depends on your diet and stuff, but you start to find yourself, even though you're putting the miles in, that you're getting chubby, little belly. I'm not saying full beer belly, but little belly, maybe a little thing, right? Um, Little flabby arms, right? Okay, cool. So what do? You decide to, run harder. And still a little chubby. You go to the doctors. Nah, your blood work looks good. This and that, blase, blase. So then maybe check your diet. Maybe go into a calorie deficit to try to lose that belly or whatever. Okay, so you try to keep your minute mile up. It's getting harder and harder and harder. And then no matter what you do, uh, you're you're kind of still just kind of there. All right, your numbers are good, but you still feel I don't know, something. So then what you try to do is well, let's you know maybe start lifting a little bit more, and you start to find out that, man, I'm kind of weak. Get your biometrics done. You find out that your muscle is down, your fat is up, your bones are a little weak, even though you do all this running. Especially now that you're older. All right. I want to make sure I'm making sense as I explain this. So then um you have to decide at this point, is what I'm doing productive? Is what I'm doing conducive to what I am trying to do, and now that I'm older, what is it that I'm really trying to do? Um, am I still trying to improve my mile? Do I still want to keep running these marathons? Do I still want to keep, cycling all these miles? Do I still want to keep, swimming all these laps? You know, what else do I want to do? Why? Why am I why do I feel really good about my running or my swimming or my cycling or whatever, but yet I still feel weak and debilitated? Why do I not feel strong and proud of my, how fast I am or how far I can run or walk? And in the end, it's because your body starts to decay, let's call it, starts to atrophy naturally. Naturally, it's going to do it almost no matter what. That's why you need to start weight training, strength training, resistance training. Now, there are ways that you can combine the two. One of the things I like to do is like circuits with dumbbells and stuff where I'm not running, you know what I'm saying, but I'm moving weight for a certain amount of time, causing my heart rate to go up. But yet I'm still moving these weights too, so I'm adding that resistance. But there does come a time where you have to dedicate some time to strength training, resistance training to build that muscle because your muscle will start is what is the beginning of the regulation of a lot of other endocrine functions, meaning you do something, your body releases hormones in order to either one, congratulate you for doing it, or two, to allow you to keep going and keep doing it. All right. In a nutshell, it gets a lot more complicated than that, but I don't want to get into that. Generally speaking, that's kind of how it works. Now, the thing about cardio is that cardio will always be important. All right. The issue is cardio is an easy sell. You know what I mean? It's an easy sell for everyone, and it's an easy sell for women also because, you know, there's a stigma, a little bit of stigma, and I hope we're really getting over this because I thought we were getting over this, but apparently it's still an issue, a stigma about women lifting weights and getting big and muscular and looking like guys. And, that stigma is a little old school because, again, I mentioned this in episode one. It takes a lot for you ladies to get really big and bulky and manly looking. It takes a lot of supplements, and it probably takes a couple cycles to get it done. You know what I'm saying? So, ladies, don't be afraid of the weights. But as I said, cardio is great, but it has to start to begin. It has to be. It has to play a different role as we get older, because it doesn't matter how fast you run. It doesn't matter how far you run. It doesn't matter um, um, how good your cardio is. When you fall and hit the ground, it's your strength that's gonna get you up. It's your bone density that's gonna keep your bones from breaking. All right. It's your muscles that will keep you from losing your balance and falling. All right. It is your strength that will get you up off the ground when you fall, not your not your minute. You know what I mean? Not your minute, mile minute, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a big runner, as you can tell. I do enjoy running, short distances. By short distances, probably like no more than 5 miles or so. And I enjoy trail running the most. Running on the road, that's, I don't know, it's very monotonous. I don't like that. Anyway, so now most people will rely on aerobics or cardio in order to keep their health up. But the problem is that your body doesn't break down cardio first. If your cardio is breaking down or broken down, then there's already other issues. You may be already pre-diabetic. You maybe already have heart disease. You know what I'm saying? You probably live a pretty sedentary life. Now, when you have more muscle on your body can regulate these things like insulin resistance and glucose intake and breaking down and things like that. The things that can cause a lot of these issues because when you lack the muscle mass, you lack the equipment to break this stuff down. So then that system starts to break down, which causes other systems to break down. So by the time your cardio is breaking down, you're already there's already other issues. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get to the crux of the issue, like that word crux, if you want to get to the bottom of it, if you want to get to what really, really, really is going to help you not get to that point, is to strength train, resistance train, put as much muscle mass on you as you can. Now, here's the issue again. When I say put as much muscle mass on you as you can, it doesn't necessarily mean to get huge. Muscle mass as you can. All right, for instance, I have more time to put to work out and train and do all this stuff that'll help me put muscle mass on me. You may not. You may work 8 hours, 10-hour days, 6-day weeks, 5-day weeks, sometimes seven days because of the holidays or whatever. All right. So you may not be able to put the muscle mass, as much muscle as you actually can, because your time will not allow, but you can put on more than you have right now. And that is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about getting really huge, really big. I'm talking about just putting on more muscle to help your body regulate the functions in order to avoid diseases. Now, if you do have, if you're already diabetic, pre-diabetic, things like that, you know, you're going to have to take medication and stuff like that, no doubt. That's fine. But also, do something for yourself. Don't just rely on the medication. Do something for yourself. Not only that, it helps with your psyche, because now you're like, not now. I'm not just being, proactive by taking my medicine. I'm being proactive by doing something to myself, for myself. You know what I'm saying? Going to the gym and lifting those weights and pushing hard and sweating and getting the endorphins that come afterwards, which is totally perfect and awesome. Anyway, muscle mass. By the time your cardio, you realize, oh, my cardio's messing up or whatever, is this and that, um, there's already other issues going on. All right. And you'll find that out once you go to your doctor. Now, if you're someone who runs all the time, and you just find yourself a little weaker, you may not have any issues other than the fact that you're starting to feel weak. But if you're in that stage, then get on it now, because it will lead, to other issues. How many people that run and stuff and have, still have like high cholesterol and things like that? You know what I'm saying? This can help with that. Again, not saying, if you're on medication to stop taking it. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the more muscle you have on you will help the entire situation, the entire system, your entire body. Okay. Now, again, we went over the cardio is not enough. It has to change. Cardio does not address insulin resistance, mitochondrial decay, and structural frailty. Meaning, cardio is good for maintaining that. For instance, a good steady state cardio routine, or let's say you go running every day or whatever, you got that nice good steady state cardio is really good, what I mean, for maintenance, for maintaining what you've already done. But once things start to break down, cardio doesn't really address those issues. All right, putting on that muscle, putting on the equipment needed to run those systems, all right, that's how I like to put it, is what's needed. Cardio is very good for that maintenance of it, but you need that muscle in order to get your insulin sensitivity in check, and breaking down the glucose and all that stuff. I know I keep coming back to this because it's so important. Those two little things are so important because it triggers. It's like a trickle down economics, except it doesn't trickle down. You know what I'm saying? It might trickle at first, but once they open that faucet, man, I'm telling you, everything starts to break down. Okay. So what is good? What is cardio good for? Oxidative threshold. It's good for burning calories, but not building muscle. All right. So again, it's good for that burn. It's good for that. It's good stimulation for that system, for the energy system. You know what I mean? To kind of keep the engine red. Ooh, trying to get the most miles per gallon, let's say. All right. That's what cardio is good for. All right. Yes, it helps strengthen joints. Yes, it does help build muscle, but not to the point where later in life, again, earlier in life, you know what I'm saying? Cardio can really, really, really do its thing. But building muscle can really, really do its thing when you're younger. Different thing. As we age, those things really you have to really figure out where your focus needs to be. And for the most part, it really needs to be into that strength training and resistance training, whatever it is that you want to call it. So uh, cardio does not help build fast twitch muscle fibers. Fast twitch muscle fibers are the ones that help you with balance, power, strength, and fall prevention. All right. Oh, and they're first to atrophy. Atrophy, as in to when you stop using it, your body's like out the door. Why? It's expensive. Expensive. Yeah. Um, energy wise, they're expensive. Your body, remember, your body, no matter what state it is in, tries to be efficient. So it will cut corners, it will do all kinds of things to be as efficient as possible. That's why when you leave a sedentary life, your body will become efficient at being sedentary. That's why if you go from sedentary and you start moving, you're going to feel like shit at first because your body's like, this is too expensive. I can't pay for this. I can't pay for this. Do you realize, how much food now I have to eat or what I got to do in order to maintain this level of activity that you're all of a sudden demanding on me? Think of it that way. You know what I mean? It becomes expensive. The more you sit around, the more expensive it becomes for you to move around. All right? That's the problem. Because then the more expensive it becomes, the less you want to spend on it, the poorer you become. And then the more expensive things get, the poorer you become. Again, it's this cycle of use it or lose it. You know what I'm saying? If you do, you'll get. If you don't do, you won't get. But you'll want to keep getting, but not doing. Okay, enough of that. So cardio does help with insulin sensitivity, but it does not address the same or the system in order to fix it. Sorry, not the same. Address the cause. All right, this is what I just said. It's great for insulin sensitivity once you're good, or if you're trying to maintain where you're at. Once you're good, good. Fixing the system, it's kind of like you have an oil leak, so you just keep changing the oil in order to fix the oil leak. But you can't fix the oil leak by changing the oil. You have to fix the oil leak. All right. Think of it that way. All right. Resistance training does address this. As we age, this becomes super, super, super critical. Walking, running, good. Strength training, better. It pays more dividends. It becomes more expensive to run. All right. You're paying in, but the running isn't paying out the way it used to. So now you have to diversify your folder. I don't know anything about stocks really, but I'm just throwing words out there now. No, but seriously. So it's think of it that way. All right, you don't want to, put everything into Campbell's soup, right? No way, not now. Damn, man, right? Can't do that. Can't do that. Let's put some into IBM. They're still killing it out there. Google or whatever. Same thing here. All right, running great. It used to do its thing for you. I get it, man. It's your homeboy. Cardio. The stepper girls, right? The stepper. And up and right? I've done it. I've done it. I've done it. I have. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to change. But either way, awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Keep doing it, but you have to say, now cardio, like we used to be really good friends and we still are, but I feel like, me and dumbbells over here need to get more acquainted too. Maybe we can all meet and have a good time together, right? How about that? Cardio cannot, you cannot sit there and say, I'm going to run more, run more, run more, run more. No. But then again, flip that around. You lift, 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 but you don't run. Okay. You don't do cardio. All right. Everyone associates cardio with running. I do too. Cycling, biking, swimming. Swimming's probably the best cardio. I'm not gonna lie, I think. But you may have to do the opposite where, okay, keep your weight training up, but now start getting that cardio up to get the rest of that system working for you. You have the muscle to help regulate that insulin sensitivity and all that stuff. Now let's get that cardio to help you maintain it. All right. System on system on system on system, they all work together. One goes, they all go. All right. Super important to have muscle mass to help prevent those systems. They're like the gateway. The muscles are the gateway. They are your body armor. All right. It's your shirt. It's your jacket. Before you get to your skin, you got to get through all that. That's what muscles are. Skin, muscle, armor, and everything else under it. Think of it that way. Think of it that way. All right. Okay. Resistance training does address this. As we age, this is critical. Walking, running, good. Strength training, better. Okay. Bone response to mechanical stress. What does that mean? It means, I addressed this in the last episode. It means that when you're lifting weights, your muscles are moving the weight, but your bones have to be able to carry this weight. This is where progressive loading, progressive overloading comes into play. Again, some of my clients, when they first came here, they're like, oh, I only use the 20 pounds. I don't go higher than 15. I don't go higher than 12 pounds or whatever. And then, and in the same breath say, yeah, and I don't understand why I'm not seeing any results. Well, because if you got to the 12 pounds, now your body can lift it. That's it. Your body can lift it. It doesn't need to do anything else to lift those 12 pounds. You know what I mean? Now you move up to the 15s. Now move up to the 20s. Right away, they see the 20s. They're, oh, no. Keep going, keep going, keep going. You know what I mean? Progressively overloading in order to keep building. Now, here's the thing. As we age, that progressive overload is going to get less and less. So if you were rocking the 20s and 25s, doing curls, let's say, in your 30s, then the feeling of lifting that in your 70s will probably be 12 or 15 pounds, if that makes any sense. Because again, as you get older, the shit gets heavier and heavier and heavier. And so then that progressive overload is going to look different. That's like me saying, oh, I can, deadlift 365 and at, 75, 80 years old, I'm trying to go for 380, 385. No. That's not what that means. The progressive overload will change as you age, but you want to keep progressively overloading. So when you find yourself that, damn, the 45-pound dumbbells are heavy now. I'm down. Now I'm using the 40s. That's a gauge of how either well you're doing or how much you've slowed down. So for instance, someone says, some guy says in my 30, I was, doing 60, 65 pounds, dumbbells in each hand, let's say bench pressing. And now I'm in my 70s and I'm doing, using the 50s and 45s. That's not bad. That's not bad. You know what I'm saying? So he adjusted his progressive overload, his progressive load in order according to where he is in life, not to what he used to do back then and trying to build on that. Because otherwise, you're just going to break yourself. Okay. So, anyway, bone also responds to that because it has to be strong enough to hold the weight itself. All right. I'm gonna touch on this real quick, but if you're a woman, you're going through menopause, muscle mass, super important. It will help. Will it make it go away? No, it will not. You may still need to do hormone therapy or take medication. When it comes to that, it really depends on you and your comfort level. I know. I'm not the one to be giving menopause advice, but by having muscle mass on you, and by also keeping up with your diet and also getting that cardio in, but definitely getting that muscle mass in, it will help. It will help. Um, you don't get the relief. It's it's not a relief thing. It's not that you're getting a hot flash and you let me go do some burpees and you're like, oh, I feel better, or let me go hit those weights, go do a workout, oh, I feel better. No, it's not like that. It's a maintenance thing. It'll make it easier over time. It's not going to take care of symptoms the way medication does. All right. It will work more like the hormone therapy, but even over a longer period of time. It's more like again, building that system in order for your body to help deal with it on its own. Again, not saying not to take your medicine or not to take whatever your doctor, whatever you and your physician or doctor agree upon. I'm just saying it helps. All right. Cardio will not help you when you fall. Went over this before. Training is not free. Recovery is important. All right. Now we all know training's not free monetarily, one way or another. You know what I'm saying? Even if you have your own gym at home, well, you had to buy that stuff, right? But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about training. Spending, not going to work. Spending, not going to work. That's what I'm talking about here. Working out, sleeping 4 hours at night. Working out, sleeping 4 hours at night. Or going to work, working out, sleeping 4 hours at night. Going to work, working out, sleeping 4 hours at night. That's what I'm talking about. You cannot outtrain a bad recovery. You cannot outtrain a bad recovery. You cannot outrun strength training. You cannot outtrain a bad recovery. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. Now, I like napping during the day. I have time to, okay? Not everyone does. I get it. But here's the problem with napping. Napping is good as a re-energizer, but it does not pay in to the recovery pot. Okay? So when you sit there and you take a nap, it's more like I just did something really tough. Let me just kind of like eating, sitting for a minute, and then getting back to work. All right. Same thing. That's what napping does. You do something, makes you tired or whatever. You get up early in the morning, 3:30. It's 12 o'clock. You need just a little bit of a nap to what? To recharge. You're not trying to regain the sleep you lost last night. No, you're trying to recharge. It does not go into the recovery pot. You cannot claim that as recovery. You cannot claim that as your sleep. All right. And also, one thing I'll probably get into is recovery during your workout. Super important. Super important. Recovering while you work out. Like your rest between your sets. What are you doing between there? That is also very important. That's a different video. All right. Now, the conspiracy. Again, why is it that this is what's told to us. Oh, well then, running is great, doing this is that, blah blah. Is it because is it because physicians don't know any better, which makes me sad? Is it because they're taught to not know any better? You know, or is it, you know, again, to keep us from doing what's best for us, especially as we age? Because, I mean, for me, hospitals, medicine, things like that should not be business as usual. I find it very sad to see emergency centers, um, hospitals going up like hotels, and to me, that's not a sign of modern medicine or progression. That's a sign of a very sick um, society. I feel that most of our physicians are taught not even to heal. They're not even healers. They're taught to show us how to deal with what we got. And I think that's a little unfair because I always make this comparison. I'll try to make this as quick as possible so we can wrap this up. So back in the day, back before even I was born, right? You have shows like My Three Sons, Leave It to Beaver, all these like shows, like wholesome family shows, the adults, the kids, mom and dad always knew best. And, son got in trouble, Dennis the Menace, son got in trouble, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Mom and dad always knew best. Fast forward, now it's kids know everything. Mom and dad are, oh, we're just mom, we're just dad, we're dumb, we're this and that, blase, blase, right? So it's like got this, I feel like that's why maybe, as parents, we feel like, damn, what am I allowed to do here? Because we've been turned into clowns on TV. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there it is. Now, switch that onto the fitness thing. Back in the day, fitness was a big thing. Gym class, physical fitness test every year. You know what I mean? We did a physical fitness test in the fall, in the spring, and we did soccer, basketball, I did archery in gym class, all this cool stuff. All right. And now, like the gym teacher was, the guy, be fit, be fit. And then as we progressively get through the ages up until now, now the gym teacher's a clown. Some guy with with a whistle and his shirt tucked into his shorts talking about blah blah blah. It's like, oh, total dork. You know what I mean? Or you have the female, with the short haircut looking all butch and stuff with the, rah, rah, rah. And they clowned it. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's why um in the fitness industry, like it's looked at as like whatever. It's vanity. It's if you want to be all about yourself, and it's really not. It's all about taking care of yourself. Preemptive strike, preventative medicine. That's what this really should be. And I don't understand why it's not being portrayed that way. And why physicians don't say, let's get your blood work. Go ahead, get your blood work. Boom, boom, boom. Cool, I got your blood work. Why don't you come in? We're going to do a physical fitness test. Not a physical, like, grab your balls, turn and cough. No, man. The kind of physical is that? You know what I mean? No, not just blood pressure. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's lift. Let's get you moving as fast as you can for as long as you can. Doesn't matter if it's 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 hours, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Maybe not 10 hours, but after a little while, I'm sure they can get a good measure. But either way, why isn't this being pushed? Why don't you go to the doctor and get a physical fitness test? Why don't they offer it? Why isn't it part of their curriculum? Why is it just when you're sick, it's this, when you're sick, it's that, this and that, this and that? I know that they know how the body works. I know they know about, mitochondria and endoplasmic reticulums and all that kind of cell membrane and how muscles work, the H lines, Z lines, all these things. I know they know that. And I know they know that muscle is a is in control of all these functions, like pre-functions that allow your body to do all these other things. I know that's stated very broadly, but I'm not trying to get all technical here. It's just something to think about. So next time you go to your doctor, ask him, you know, why, when you say exercise, what do you mean exercise? You know what I mean? And if they go straight to the, well, you could hit the treadmill and the elliptical. Okay, that's great. But what do I do with the weights? I want to be stronger. Why is everything weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, weight loss? Why is, nothing more about weight gain, muscle gain? All these gains. Everyone wants these gains, but everyone wants trying to lose. You know, we got to put more muscle on our bodies as we age. All right, that's what this is about. Cardio is not enough as we get older. Got to put that muscle on. Don't stop doing your cardio, but really start thinking about what weight training means to you and how it can help you. Do your own research. Do your own research. I hope you don't have to take my word for it. Listen to what I said. If you kind of digging it, do your research. If you're not digging it, do your research. Do your research. You know what I'm saying? Do what's best for you. But I'm telling you, what's best is to put onto that muscle. Again, I'm not huge. You know what I'm saying? But I have what it takes in order to kind of start really balancing that out. Now that I'm 50 years old, balancing that out and really giving myself the best advantage to keep aging, gracefully, I guess. All right. So EM3 Strength and Conditioning, we're right here, 1631 Main Street in Northampton, Pennsylvania. If you want help building muscle, if you want to feel stronger, feel better, feel more capable in your life. All right. Because when we get older, that's what it comes down to. All right. Having a chiseled chest and all that stuff goes out the door. Now it's about, man, I don't want to fall. If I fall, I want to be able to get up. I want to play with my grandkids. I want to be able to get up and down the stairs, carry groceries, things like that. If that's important to you, all right, on top of, looking good, just because, I can carry the groceries, but I don't mind having a little bit of, right? If that's what you want for yourself, DM me, all right, or comment on the video right there and let us know. We'll reach out and we'll show you how putting on muscle can help you in any situation. It won't cure you, but it'll help you. EM3 Strength and Conditioning, the conspiracy against muscle, the truth you are not being told. See you next time.